Hey, today I've got a super powerful video on how to hypnotize yourself to win no matter what. But firstly, I want to congratulate you for watching right now because I was going to call this video something very different, but this is a really subtle hypnosis secret that once you understand, it will really start to shift how you not only interact with others, but the results that you get out of your interactions, relationships, and friendships. I was going to call this how to win even when the worst is going on, how to win even when your life feels like it's falling apart. But what that would have done is it would have captured the attention of people who felt stuck, people who felt very trapped, who felt like their life was going terribly. And to be completely honest, I don't want to work with that kind of person. I want to work with winners. I can help anyone, so I want to help people that are already helping themselves. And if you're watching this video, you know that no matter what goes on in life, there are some negative things that can obviously happen, but you know you're someone who isn't going to be a victim of those outside situations, and you're actively doing something. Right now, you're actively doing something to make sure that you take as much control over your own circumstances as you possibly can. So if you've liked any of my past videos, please like, please subscribe. I want to help grow this and share this message and find as many people like you as possible, because the world right now is so victim-centric and it's so focused on being the victim of our own suffering, being the victim of our own circumstances. But today's video is literally exactly about how to not be the victim of your scenario. Because if you've been following along, you might have seen that my Instagram was recently entirely deleted. Now, this is just a glitch that happened. Apparently thousands of accounts worldwide have been deleted as they rolled out a new safety feature, and my account just so happened to be one of them. And for the last 2 or 3 years now, my income is entirely driven by my Instagram. So to have that account disappear is obviously pretty negative, right? So I just had landed in New Zealand. I was about to have a relaxing holiday back home with my family, and we get back to my family's house and I open my phone and I couldn't log into Instagram. And then I was like, oh, must be a changing countries kind of thing. So I go into my Facebook to try re-verify that it's really me. And then my Facebook account doesn't exist either. And I found out, well, it's because the two are linked. And then I appealed it and they instantly denied the appeal. So all of a sudden I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm on holiday, I'm not working. I had already chosen not to make any income this week. Now it's looking like my source of income has completely gone as well. And that was the first day of my holiday. So I was rather annoyed for about 5 minutes because I just thought I'd forgotten my password and I was like, oh, you idiot, not again. But honestly, my parents, my family, my close friends freaked out way worse than me, because immediately my brain just switched to the positive. And I realized it was my opportunity to refine things, right? I shouldn't have left everything on Instagram. I didn't entirely, which is what's helped me get through it. But I've realized I needed to be cleaner and more precise with who I was helping, sending them emails of their audios rather than Instagram DMs, making sure I kept up to date with people in multiple different ways rather than just through the one channel. And so rather than completely flip out, which just wouldn't have been helpful, my brain immediately moved into what I could do. So this is the first secret, is having that influence, having that self-perspective control, so that your brain automatically goes to what's in your circle of influence, not what's outside of your circle of influence. Now, of course, I immediately tried to do everything that I could to get my Instagram account back, but ultimately that's within Meta's control, not my control. So I didn't just sit around crying that there was this thing outside of my control. I immediately shifted to what was inside my control. I had phone numbers, I had contacts, I had Instagram accounts who I was just about to help. So I had to try remember their username, find things like that. And ultimately, by focusing on what I could control, I gained my power back in a powerless situation. And that's how you go from victim to conqueror, is you make that switch of, okay, if I focus on certain things here, I am the victim of this situation. But if I simply focus on other things, I'm the victor. I can put in the work to get a positive result out of this. And so that's what I did. And now I've actually made more this week than I had the last week of having a proper Instagram account. I make more of 220 followers than I was with 2,900. So it just opened my eyes to a lot more that I could and should have been doing with the previous account. So immediately I saw it as a lesson. I saw it as blessings, whereas my family, my grandparents, everyone was like, how are you gonna make money? How are you gonna make money? I shifted into breaking it into all of the little pieces that I could. Okay, how can I start? Who's the closest person who needed the most help at the start before I got my account deleted? How can I find as many of the 2,900 that already followed me again? How can I build up a new account that's less vulnerable and even more effective so that I can do more with a lower following? And basically, just by flipping my focus, and you see focus dictates your emotions, which dictates your behaviors. And so victims, they feel so sad, they feel depressed, they feel miserable and anxious. And trust me, I know this because I save so many of them from their own feelings. They feel like that because they're focusing on all of the negatives, all of the things that are victimizing themselves. And therefore, when they feel powerless, they don't take empowered action. They don't take powerful steps forward. They actually take drugs, they take medications, they take distractions, and they find themselves in situations that are getting worse and worse. So if you don't have the ideal life that you want right now, if things aren't as good as they could be, don't be the victim of it. Shift your focus onto the minutia, the tiniest thing that you can do to change, and let that snowball up. You see, the biggest avalanche, the most massive impact or forwards momentum that you could get in your life starts from the tiniest drop of ice, and it rolls into a little snowball, and then it gets a bigger and bigger mass as it continues rolling down that hill until you have this avalanche that has so much momentum that nothing could stop it. I literally had my whole Instagram deleted, essentially my whole business deleted, but my momentum, my avalanche, my control of focus was so big, so powerful, so strong that it didn't stop me at all. And that is the level of self-confidence, drive, and determination that I will get you if you continue to watch and subscribe to this channel. So stay tuned for next week's episode. We'll dive even deeper. Comment below what topic you would like me to talk about using hypnosis for.